Okay, Civil War test, chapters 17 through 19. I'll read the names over on the right first. Lee, Frederick Douglass, Sherman, John Brown, Grant, Harriet Tubman, Atlanta, Appomattox Courthouse, McClellan, Lincoln, 15th Amendment, 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment to preserve the Union for states' rights. Number 1, well-known general of the Union. Number 2, led an attack at Harper's Ferry. Well-known Confederate general. Number 4, famous for his march to the sea. 5, conductor for the Underground Railroad. 6, place where treaty was signed ending the Civil War. 7, said that the Civil War was over slavery. 8, said that the Civil War was to preserve the Union. 9, was burned to the ground during the Civil War. 10, was known as the Do-Nothing General. 11, reason the South said they were fighting the Civil War. 12, abolished slavery. 13, said that all citizens could vote. 14, said all persons born in the U.S. were citizens. 15, reason the North said they were fighting the Civil War. 16, what was a Sherman necktie? A bow tie, a bent railroad rail, a thicker style tie worn only by General Sherman. There was no such thing. 17, what was the first battle of the Civil War? Where was the first battle of the Civil War fought? Atlanta. It goes across. B is Richmond. C, Gettysburg. D, Fort Sumner. 18, one result of the Civil War was England came into the war. B, income tax was started. C, cannon were invented. D, the U.S. Constitution was written. Number 19, the North and the South thought the war would last 5 years, 6 years, 30 years, 90 years, 90 days. Number 20, the ironclad ships that fought during the Civil War were the Merrimack, Virginia, and Fulton's Folly, the Constitution, the Monitor, the Mayflower. 21, the first and only president of the Confederacy was Robert E. Lee, Frederick Douglass, Lincoln, Jefferson Davis. The North wanted to control this river to divide the South into two: Missouri, Ohio, Mississippi, Tennessee. Number 23, if Douglas and Lincoln both received about the same amount of popular votes in the election of 1860, why did Lincoln become the president? He had the second most electoral votes. He had the second most popular votes. He had the most electoral votes. He won the most popular vote in every state. Number 24, pick out the statement that is not true, if any, in regard to the decision the Supreme Court handed down in the Dred Scott case. Dred Scott was told that he didn't have any rights. He was told that he wasn't even a citizen. He was told that he was basically just a piece of property. A, B, and C were all said. They are all true, so I must choose D as my answer. Number 25, what amendment officially abolished slavery? 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Number 26, the Civil War lasted from blank to blank. 27, people who moved from the North after the Civil War to the South were known as carpetbaggers, traders, freedmen, scalawags. 28, Southern Democrats referred to Southern white Republicans as carpetbaggers, traders, freedmen, scalawags. Number 29, because many Southern landowners were poor after the war, they had to resort to a system called crop rotation, fallowing, sharecropping, mechanized farming. 30, the peculiar institution was known as the Ku Klux Klan, slavery, the Red Cross, Congress. 31, after the invention of the cotton gin, cotton production decreased, slave population increased, nothing happened, slaves quit working. 32, as cotton production increased, slave population increased, slave population decreased, slaves quit, nothing happened. 33, a major advantage of the North during the Civil War was its geographical position, its factory and manufacturing ability. It had less population, its rural population. 34. What was the major effect of the 1857 Dred Scott versus Sanford decision? Southerners were upset by the federal government's disregard of states' rights. Stephen Douglas abandoned his support for popular sovereignty. Abraham Lincoln gained national recognition because he wrote the decision. Northerners were angered because the decision could make the way to extend slavery into the newly acquired Western territories. 35. Southern dependence on slavery and an agricultural economy resulted in an excellent railroad system, a lack of factories, a dependence on government tax breaks, several new political parties.